Is it terrible?
Nah.
It just
Okay.
looks like you're in a
In the
found
dark?
footage horror film.
Yes. I was about
I
to
mean,
say
which
that.
kind of horror film? Oh, like a
A
paranormal
found
horror
footage
film?
horror film. And I'm not gonna lie, there's a shadow as I'm looking at you off to your left that kind
Yeah,
of
that
looks
looks.
like a guy. It's just
So
hovering over your
it's an
shoulder.
Among Us balloon
Okay,
like
go.
stuff.
There we go. Yeah. Okay.
Oh.
Is that better? No, you can't
Moons
have the
later.
balloon. You can't
It
have it,
just looks
baby.
like a shadowy figure hovering.
It did. It looked like a head and a body. Lay down, baby. Lay down. Lay down, sweet boy.
I can't, baby.
I'm sorry. Did that scare you?
A little bit.
I'm sorry.
Terrified.
I'm sorry.
Terrified. Oh my god.
Mark me
Wanna
down
say
as
hi to the
scared
people?
and aroused.
Max, Max. Oh, sorry. I'm like totally standing up in the camera.
Camera.
Max,
Say
Max.
that for GRD OnlyFans.
You want to say hi to the people? Can you see him? Oh, there he is.
Yeah, when
Say
are we
hi
going
to
to
the
start the Only Flins?
Say hi to the people. Say hi to the people.
Aw.
I do need to figure out just the feet one because that seems like good money.
Rich. Hey,
I
Rich.
know.
Rich.
No, my feet are terrible. Oh. What is
But
that?
did you already start?
That's my game capture card.
Oh, nice.
So Sunday I'm gonna test it and might possibly stream what we test
Oh, hell yeah.
with the current Mario Kart.
Very cool.
So I need to make sure I've got my Pro controller, charged.
Mm-hmm.
Pro controller, baby.
Yeah.
Did we tell y'all that spring break? So like March into April of 2026, we're gonna go to Universal
Ooh.
Yep.
and do the Mario, all the
cool.
Mario stuff. Yep,
Oh, nice.
yep. We haven't you can't book it yet because it's too far out, but we're
Mhm.
planning it. I looked at airline tickets today.
Very
Kevin and
cool.
Jessica have not been on an airplane before. We're gonna do something about that.
What?
I guess we need to tell them to get real IDs.
Yes.
Do you need that for
Yeah.
domestic?
You need? Yes, you do.
Mhm.
You need
I
real
mean, I
IDs
have it.
for
I'm just not
domestic
sure.
because we're an idiot country now.
Yeah, in more ways than one. My hair
and
is
they-
ridiculous.
And
y'all.
the deadline finally showed up, and they didn't delay it this time.
I'm trying to fix it.
Yeah, the people that are going to be against that are the ones who don't trust the government because they might be talking to the revenuers and all that jazz. So, yeah,
Yeah, but are they flying?
that's going to be.
No.
I
Well,
do need to renew my passport so I could freaking vote.
well, because that's the thing, because that once that becomes a requirement for voting, which I think it already has, which I'm totally fine with. I have no qualms with voter ID as long as it's free and cannot be revoked
Yep.
or taken on a
Yep.
whim.
But if you have to have a passport, it's kind of a poll tax.
It is.
Oh yeah,
If-
it's definitely a poll tax against me because I did not go back to my maiden name when I got divorced, so my birth certificate does
Mhm.
not match my name.
Well, mine
Well,
doesn't. And
And that's why I'm saying is like, if this is a one step closer to it, yeah, I'm fine with that. But if this is all that it is and it's still something that you got to pay for, no, that we're not there yet.
some bullshit.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, could that be what it takes to get people to finally rise up?
Nope.
No.
There's nothing.
No,
that we can do.
well,
We're
I'll tell
doomed.
you what it'll take. I'll tell you what it'll take. It'll take a death. They will rise up and blame Obama. And I personally think I think he's on his way out naturally, people. I don't think anyone's going to assassinate him or anything. I think he is wasting away.
Oh yeah. No.
I have bandwidth issues. I didn't hear anything you said.
Donald Trump is dying.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
Donald Trump
has
is
been for a
dying.
while. He's
Yeah.
he's been on the hard fade for a while. The only thing that's keeping him alive is the fact that he has some of the world's best healthcare. Mentally,
Yep.
his
While
brain
taking
is
away
turning
yours.
into mush. Yeah, exactly. His brain has been turning into mush. I mean, I listen
Word
to
salad, absolute
all of
word
the stuff
salad.
that he does, and it's
And
gotten
since,
worse.
And since enough people fucking let him get away with calling Biden Sleepy Joe, we're officially going to start calling him Dozing Don.
Oh yeah, because he does nothing but sleep through meetings. But
Everywhere.
once he's
Play golf.
gone, no
Yeah.
one else
But that
has
doesn't
the cult
fix anything,
following.
though.
No.
Yeah,
But here's one of the things. Once he's gone,
Hopefully, they eat each other alive, literally and figuratively.
part of
That's what will happen.
part of it is going to be that, and then there's a lot of other people that which The only reason why they're ramming through so much with the EOs, the executive orders, is because they know he ain't
Bingo.
gonna be around for very long, and once he's gone, cult of personality's done. And so that's why they're trying to get through everything that they can. Unfortunately, a lot of it is getting through. A lot of it is also executive orders. Basically, it's a mixture of trying to rush through everything that they can, as well as get away with everything that they can before the courts step up and stop, which they have done so much of that. But
Yep.
there's a lot of people still getting hurt along the way, which is unfortunate. But the only positive thing is that so many things are going to be codified because of this stuff.
Yeah, we're gonna make
Yeah.
it so that nobody can do this.
You
But see,
can't
what we're not gonna
executive
get
order it away anymore.
is campaign
which,
finance reform, which is what we actually need.
Mhm.
yeah.
Campaign
We do.
finance reform, because then your billionaires cannot bully our representatives
Mhm.
into doing whatever they say. You can't be a Republican and stand up to him, or you don't get reelected.
Because you get primaried by other people and stuff like 100%.
Right. By Elon Musk and his money.
Well,
Although I think he's
and
on
Peter
his
Thiel.
way out.
Oh
which-
yeah.
Peter
They're
Thiel is
Just as
slowly-
bad as the Democrat. I mean, the Democrats have the same problems. They're not speaking up when they know they should be speaking up, because there's super PACs that are targeting them too.
The only people speaking up now are the Republicans that are being bitten in the ass by his things.
No, that
Yeah.
is 100% not true. Dems have been doing everything they can. Legally, there's very limited as to what they can do.
Yeah.
One of the biggest things that we have to worry about is the people that have enabled Trump to take office, i.e.,
Steve.
the people who didn't
It's behind the
vote.
scenes puppet masters.
No, I'm talking about regular people. The people that listen too much to the fucking Young Turks and Schenken.
Oh yeah.
All of these people
All
that
these red pill guys.
all
Yes.
these people
Yep.
that are just so much about decreasing the vote, or what's worse is if we can't have everything, nobody should get anything. And honestly, one of the biggest issues that we have right now are people like David Hogg, who, with his heart in the right place. No, David Hogg is the guy who survived the school shooting.
I know who you're talking
I
about.
know, but you said hot.
His heart is in the right place, but his head is up his ass because he's trying to primary somebody who is already in the blue seat. We shouldn't be trying to get people out of the blue seats. We should be trying to turn red states purple and purple states blue, period. That is where we are at now. We can worry about trimming the branches, but right now the tree is dying. And so we have to focus on making sure we get people in those seats that already are. And if we're trying to boot out people who have a history of getting in and getting the seat and then voting the way we need to, because the guy that David Hogg is trying to primary is the guy who actually tossed in impeachment, has brought up impeachment stuff against Trump. Of course, it's not going to see the light of day because, Johnson runs is the speaker, the majority speaker, and he's the one who brings or the Speaker of the House, excuse me. So he's
Right.
the one who actually brings the stuff up for vote, but it's something. And we have to be smart about what we're doing. Otherwise, we're going to let a bunch of jackasses who, again, either they're uninformed, they're dumb on purpose, or they're part of the opposition that are trying to decrease the vote. And that is where we're at. And that is what is so damn dangerous.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, I constantly deal with people
what
online
we
who
do
do
in these
that.
dark times is we lean on each other and
Mhm.
we find the fun where we can.
Mhm.
We host the podcast and we bring joy to the
That's
literally tens of people who listen.
Joy.
Thank
Yes.
you. Thank you for listening.
Yes. And be smart, be vigilant, and make sure you're actually. People are too smart to repeat dumb things. So be
Thank-
smart about what you repeat.
I wish.
Cool.
So we can only do
So-
our stuff.
Podcasting time then?
Yes.
Yeah.
This has been Geek Political Day.
Hey, Rich, just a heads up, because I think before you got here, I was having some bandwidth issues. So I may need to periodically cut my camera off for a little bit during the show. I know that you have it set up so that I'm in the drop off position, but just FYI.
Yeah,
As long
no
as you
problem.
don't leave.
Yeah, that's the key thing. If you leave, that kind of f's everything up. I mean,
Oh,
I
Yeah,
yeah,
do
which is
have.
very
if they
hard.
with your name, that's fine.
I
Sometimes the only thing, like restarting my computer, is the only thing that makes
Yeah.
it come back up. But I've already done that, so
Nope.
hopefully we'll be okay.
No problem. But but I do have it set up to where if I need to switch to it, I've got a spot with the three of us and with our
Just
names
the
under
three
those.
of us.
So
We
we
can
should be
make it
good.
if we try.
Just the three of us. You and I. Wait. You and I. There it is.
So
All right. Ready?
yes, sir.
Yes.
Push the button.
Podcasting is built on hope. It's GRD Sweekly.
See what you did there.
Thank you, right? It's good times.
It's amazing how one line can make a movie title like A New Hope make sense.
Right.
So awesome. Hi, everybody. Welcome to GRD Weekly, episode number
336.
You know. Sure,
Nope.
why not? Nope,
Nope,
not.
7. Because you messed up that one.
No, 8, 9,
It's 395. Okay, fine. The
330, 89.
Folks bringing things to you today. The woman you should never cross. That there is the Flinsters.
I'll have you torn into so many pieces, even the vultures won't find them.
Okay, the woman who really wants to know herself. It's Carol the cat.
Tell me the truth. Am I a female Fogberry?
I'm gonna say yeah. The gentleman who will get you logically. It's podcasting Dred Siegfried.
Understand or not, enough you've said. This proves my point.
And I'm the guy who knows his own problem. I'm the wonderful Billy Flynn.
Understand or not, enough you've said.
Oh, and I
This proves
pushed yours
my
again.
point. Understand or not,
No,
enough you've said. This
I
proves
loaded
my
yours into
point.
mine. Oh, that's fantastic.
That's what she said.
Fantastic. I can't believe I did something like that. I'm pushing. I'm like, no, I pushed the other button. I swear to God, I did. All right.
Push all the buttons.
Here it is.
I've got bats in my belfry.
There you go. Thank you. What happened, Geeky? Yo?
Well, I'm going to start with what is arguably the geekiest thing that I've basically ever done in my life. We played another round of Unicorn D&D.
Unicorn
So
D&D.
I've actually played D&D. I've actually understand how it all works. Because for a very long time, I was like, I do not get it.
I understand.
We played a simplified version, so like you didn't have that many stats or whatnot. But it was us and our friends who live in Northern Virginia, and they have a kid that's about the same age as well. And so like this was part 2 of the story that we played before, and we all had the unicorn horns. I'll have to post a picture like in one of the things. And we have different unicorn names. What's yours, unicorn? What's your character's name, Flynn?
I'm Vega.
Vega. And what's your like class? I'm trying to remember. You're more of like a bard rogue kind of unicorn.
Mambo's 1 through 5.
You know it.
Those 1 through 5. But mine, I'm playing a barbarian, shocker, right? And her name is Punchly Smashercorn. Right on the nose. And so I just walk around going, I don't know, let's go fight them. And it's so
Works.
fun. But we actually befriended the hog people of the place that we were investigating. We didn't get very far. There's this mysterious symbol, and we have made no progress on this mysterious symbol.
We were
But
supposed.
our
The
dungeon master did
DM
such
had,
a good job.
the
And he
DM had
gave
planned
them
for
like
us to fight them, but we made
well,
friends.
yeah, he had planned for us to fight them, and the girls, we made friends with them. We found them food, and
Yep.
then
Truffles.
even when it turns out that it was their food that we just harvested out of their land and gave it to them, they still were fine with it because we did the work for them. We're very persuasive.
Yep.
Smashly not so much, but the rest. Mel's tsunami, and she has water powers, and I think the other girls is rainbow sparkles or something like that, like super on the nose unicorn. But she has ice powers, so they do a combo move called homing ice missiles.
Homing ice
where
missiles.
if they both like on one round, one will sacrifice their turn for the other. They can do a combo move, and so they shoot water out and then freeze it midair.
Nice.
Send it down as missiles.
By their powers combined.
Tsunami even came up with one where like she made this water disc and then they froze it and she could like throw it like
Yeah.
Captain America's shield.
Yeah.
That's
It was
awesome.
crazy.
Clever.
They were getting so creative and there's a ton of math, right? And it was so fun. So hopefully we'll do another round of that when we all go to the beach in the Outer Banks. But it was super, super fun. And
One person's
it's hard though
dice.
because
One
But
person's dice kept rolling a bad number, so it was put in a dice jail.
we put it in dice jail, which Mel got at RavenCon. So they all thought that was pretty cool. And I got my friend the best present that she's like one of those people who's easy to shop for. You know how there are people who just have like interests in things. Like, you have a friend who likes frogs or a friend who likes puzzles or penguins. And it's just like really easy to shop for them because you get them that thing. Well, she loves puzzles, but not just any puzzles. Like you have to take them apart and put them away, or you can like frame them or whatever. I
This time,
found her, and I'll have to send you all the link. It's a puzzle and it's 3-dimensional, and you put it together, and some of the pieces are curved. It's made out of plastic, so it's not cardboard. So if it gets wet, you put it together, and it makes an actual like vase that you could then. It's got an
yeah,
insert,
yeah.
so you can put flowers and stuff in it. They
Water
make
and flower
jars.
vase.
They make all different
Yeah.
ones.
That's
But
cool.
even though she's a puzzle aficionada and loves stuff like decor around the house, she had never heard of this, and she was so excited. She like put it together that night, like after everybody went to sleep. And I was like, yes, because I'm really not great at presents. But this just like came across my Instagram feed, and I was like, whoa, I have never seen a present that would be better than that for someone. So I was like, yes, it's a good feeling when you
Mm.
can find like a really good present and the person really likes it. So I was like, that's right.
I
That's right.
I would always ask the kids a handful of questions. First of all, what do you want? So that way I know I've got a backup in case like the other questions don't lead to anything. I ask, what are you into? So that would be like whatever franchise or whatever they're
Genre
really into.
things, yeah.
And then what is your current favorite hobby? Because
Ooh.
then you can find something that
Stuff that goes
matches
with it.
one or both or all three of those things, and boom, perfect gift.
It's really smart because I usually ask the parent of the kid, and I'm like, yeah, okay, what do they want? What can I get them? What are they into? That same kind of thing, but I never really thought to ask it like that. That's really good because, like, you want there to be some surprise if you can, but at the same time, you want it to be something good that they're actually going to like and be excited about. So, yeah, I hit the present home run for like
Yeah.
possibly the first time in my life. I'm like really not great at like really good gifts.
I'm
I've
telling
gotten
you,
you some good stuff over the years, though, Flynn. Some good Green Lantern stuff.
that's true.
really all you got to do is flash him and he's like, best Christmas ever or best Arbor Day ever. Best Tuesday ever.
Memorial Day coming up in a couple of
Hey.
days,
You know,
and to honor our fallen troops.
Exactly. Well, paint them red, white, and blue. Come on, be classy.
you
The
can-
American flag.
stars on the. No, okay.
Them's America's titties. Sorry.
All right. So we've been doing some serious geeky stuff lately. The Unicorn D&D. We also got. Do you guys know? I can't remember. I don't think I talked about this last time. Do you know Mark Rober, who does the engineers with the squirrels in the backyard? Did I talk about this last time?
Oh, yeah. I've heard about him.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so we got his kit, his like monthly kit. And the first one is so he has this like YouTube series. It's the one that I first saw was he has this elaborate squirrel maze in his backyard where they have to go through all these pretty intense feats, and he studies them, but he's like a NASA engineer, and he'll do things like, okay, can I build the biggest Nerf gun ever? And then he builds this huge Nerf gun. And then he's like, can I build the smallest? And so he connects with scientists, and they like 3D nano printed the smallest like functional Nerf gun that you have to look at and see under a microscope. It is like the nerdiest thing. But anyway, so he does one of these like monthly subscriptions where it's like a kit and you make it, and he like talks about like the science behind it as you make the kit. And it is just, we've only done the first one, but they're all going to be really cool. And they like, there's some of them that go together. Like the one we made was like a disc launcher. It has like a flywheel and a battery and everything. And then the next one is going to be this like conveyor belt where the ducks go by. And so you'll like shoot them like those old school arcade games. It might not be the next one, it might be the one after that. But anyway, so that's like super nerdy. It's called Crunch Labs. If you're listening this and you have it's like, so it's if you had a little kid, that was KiwiCo. There was like one marketed for the little kids, and this is like your
step up.
12 to 15, or I mean, I don't, you know what I mean, like your older kids. Well, she's 10, but like that kind of, like sometimes I have to help like connect the tiny little pieces to one another or whatever, but I'm fine because it's like something we can do together, so that's always really fun.
And I
let's
dropped
see,
a
we
link to
watched-
Crunch Labs in the chat.
Everybody go
thanks.
to it. Go
And
to
his
it.
videos are really cool too, but he's gotten to be sort of like a YouTube guy now. Like he's friends with Mr. Beast and like, so he has his own warehouse. It's kind of turned into he's a YouTube thing, but he has a lot of really cool science that's a part of it too. So check that out. Let's see. TV, we watched Top Chef, and we're letting Mel watch Top Chef with us this time, so that's pretty cool. So I think we might be an episode behind on Top Chef,
Yeah.
but we've been watching that. Um, Welcome to Wrexham is back. It's not particularly geeky, but I just absolutely love that show. It's cool to learn about Welsh culture, and there's a lot of controversy with this show because people say that they're just dumping money in to buy their way up the English Football League, the promotion
Like
ladder.
other
But
sports teams do. Haha.
they still have to
Yeah.
win. You still have to
Yeah,
play
you still
together
got to win a
as a
game.
team. You still have to win
Mhm.
games. So I really enjoy it. And like the behind the scenes of how a football club is run is very interesting and like you don't get that. But hilarious. We let Mel watch Ted Lasso and she's getting people from the shows mixed up. Like she's thinking like people from the AFC Richmond team were on Wrexham. They were like, oh, do they still have that captain, the one that shot the ball so hard that it went through the back of the net? And I was like, wrong show, baby. That was Ted Lasso. Because they all have the English accents too. So, or Welsh. Well, they have a very international team. There's Irish and Scottish people on the team that have different accents. So anyway, UK, if you will. But like the behind the scenes of it is really pretty interesting. Let's see what else. Doctor Who, we are caught up on Doctor Who.
Carol is
So
not.
Carol, you want to go? Carol is not listening. She is plugging your ears. Whoa, this last episode.
Holy
Right?
God. Holy
Right.
God.
So we land in the year, what is it, 2900 or something, 29 something. I remember hearing that it was like near future. And it's the future's version of what is it, the Eurovision
Eurovision.
song
And it
championship.
released
Like
on the day that
huge.
Eurovision was doing their
Right.
2025
Right.
event.
Which is so brilliant. Somebody really gave some thought to like when these episodes were going to air. And that's a really pretty cool aspect of the show.
Yeah, especially
So,
the one on the 24th.
right. The world's gonna end. Great. Well, the way we're headed. Anyway, yeah. But oh, what is it? So Belinda, she is of course totally into it, and they've cryogenically frozen the host, I guess, who's like the current host of it. I don't know. I've never actually watched it.
He's a BAFTA winning presenter, apparently.
Yeah, oh, I bet. And that was kind of funny. And then, oh, the bad guys, and we see angry doctor here.
Yes.
And that we haven't seen that in a while.
Yeah, it was the
We
first
haven't
time
that
we'd
really
seen.
from Gawa at all.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, my video is freezing.
Yeah, and Frozen. That's fine. No. And so, yeah, let's go ahead and talk about the two big things. Hopefully, look, swear to God, if you've watched that last episode, cool. If not,
Yeah, spoilers.
you need to go away for a
Spoilers.
minute because, oh my God,
We should have said that before I even got started talking, but this is the big
that's
one.
fine. But here's the moment because we've been hinting around it for years.
Years.
We've definitely had quite a few hints here with Shudigawa. But Susan, oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's the same actress. And that's what got me. Because I was like, oh my God.
Well, see, I thought,
Mhm.
yeah, I did remember that, and that was crazy, right? When she's like grandfather, and I was like, what?
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, we finally got to find out about Miss Flood, right?
I was
Ronnie.
right.
Mm-hmm. The rainy.
Well, I
Wow.
mean, who else could it really have been if they were trying to make connections back? They've been dropping like old Doctor Who like Easter eggs.
Oh, they
They
definitely
were
So
doing the
have-
same thing when Missy came back. So I mean,
Yeah.
it could have been.
Yeah.
A lot of folks thought it was the Master coming back. I mean, no, I don't think so. I think they're going bigger.
Yeah,
than
we've done enough of them.
Mm.
In the
Yeah.
Master's current incarnation, we've seen him not that long ago, right? The like Indian British guy.
Yeah, the
And Jodie
previous
Whittaker,
actress. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so, yeah. So we finally figured out that that's who that is. And she's the one who keeps popping up everywhere. So does she have her own TARDIS? I don't know the Ronnie. Now, do I need to like go back and watch? This was what, Colin Baker era?
This
you
Colin
said?
Baker's where it popped up. Yeah, Time of the Ronnie.
I guarantee you that there is going to be plenty of YouTube videos with say everything you need to know before watching.
probably.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Okay.
But she
Well,
was a
those-
time
I'm the
lady,
target
so
audience for that shit because I have no memory as it is. It could have been last week's episode, and I still need a reminder.
Well, and the
Or
previous
apparently
week was fantastic too with the spider and everything like that big and the stories
Oh yeah.
and
With
showing
the-
that the doctor was at one point in time a
Carol.
black lady.
Carol.
Carol.
Carol. now?
Yeah.
Is
Okay,
it
now
safe?
we're
And
talking
now we're
about
talking
the
last week's
previous
episode, so you're good.
episode.
Okay, we're
The
good.
Which
one
you
with
will
the
adore.
barbershop. You saw that one,
Yeah.
right?
Which I just
Yes.
I just
Right.
want to say the story that they did with that, like just the base of it about the villain and him being, you know, having a reason but going for revenge and all this stuff. Like it has been done so many times, but that actor who played the antagonist, the barber, if he wasn't as freaking good as he was, so
It would
many
have
of
not
those points
worked.
would have fallen flat. And hokey smokes, so damn good.
Yeah. All of them.
Mhm.
Is the woman in that too,
Mm-hmm.
where she, and her story and
The Nancy
just the
daughter.
thought of storytelling is a huge thing in a lot of different cultures. And it's just something that really connects people together. And also, you know what? It's interesting because the anger that we get from the doctor in this most recent episode, I mean, the previous episode, even though they kind of worked it out, he did really sort of betray him. Like, how do we need a storyteller. We need, we're going to, they basically called the doctor there or tried to get him there, and so it's like, I don't know. I mean, maybe
Well,
he called him there more so because he knew he'd be able to get them out of it. I know he said that towards the end,
mhm.
but
And
it
that's
wasn't 100% pure purpose.
no, and that's what saved that character also at the end. The actual barber,
Right.
Omo, I think, um,
Oh no.
was that because he said that I knew you'd be able to handle him.
Right.
Like that seemed like the main reason why he brought him back. You know, he didn't get a chance to say that at first, but was able to say it at the end, and so you could see why the doctor was able to forgive him. And I know I said in the last episode or last couple episodes that it felt like there have been almost like there was a scene missing in almost all the episodes. Like there was some little connective tissue. And I think that, basically from, 2 or 3 episodes back, they've been running on just all cylinders
All
where
cylinders, yeah.
everything makes sense, works, and is great. So I cannot wait to see what they're gonna do with this new stuff, and I mean the fact that they're bringing K9 back, but he's been taken over by the damn Dalek since. Oh shit! I'm sorry, Carol. No, that's not what happened.
No, it was
I wouldn't do that.
Cyberman, not
With this.
Dalek.
Yeah, but it was just oh. I think they call him a dog-lek. It's crazy that what they do.
Shall I
Oh, and then
exterminate
K9
you now, sir?
regenerated. That was the scary part.
Damn.
Anyway, also on our list, we finally got The Last of Us to work on
Yep.
our
Well,
service.
We're
that we got.
caught up.
So we
I've
are caught
not even
up.
touched it yet.
Oh my
Wow.
dude. Did you play the games?
Nope.
Okay. Then dude.
Still can't talk about it. Still can't talk about it.
But yeah, it's just like no one is safe in these shows. Anybody can go at
Oh no.
any moment.
Oh my god, that guy.
I hope they have an end game for the show and that it will not do the Walking Dead thing where it will not die.
Right.
Well, I mean,
Like Glenn under the dumpster.
You know that The Walking Dead is not the zombies; it's actually the show itself.
Right?
It's
Yeah,
the
no shit.
IP.
It has dead walked its way to like Paris and what's now it's on Long Island. Yeah.
Yeah,
It definitely has
I think
similar
there's like
themes.
3 or 4 different shows now.
How does Daryl
whole,
get to
like-
France? I mean, unless
Yeah.
of course
Got on a
he's
boat.
He
in
rode his motorcycle.
Vegas. I don't know.
Yeah, he's got a motorcycle.
He
dude.
rode his motorcycle. I don't know.
Think.
Anyway.
It,
But The
it's
I
Last of
didn't
Us has a
even
lot of
bother.
that theming of like it's really us fighting against each other that's the problem and how we can't get along even when we have a common enemy
Mhm.
like these and the variety of bad ickies in this, because this is the one where like the fungus essentially takes over and then starts taking over people and they act out, which if you think about it with global warming, our climate is consistently getting more and more fungus friendly. This is
Hmm.
pretty scary. And then you see it all over the place and what it does to people. And then, whoo, but then there are some of them that either are not as far along with their infection or they're just like smart. And those are
oh
see,
wow.
something that's like possessed like that, but it's fast I don't like it. I don't like the fast zombies. I don't like the things that can like crawl, skitter up the walls. Like that. No, thank you. I want my slow creeping zombie
Yeah.
that can't, that I can put on guts and disguise as I walk through the crowd. Right.
I want the Return of the Living Dead zombies where there's at least comedy involved with them.
Yeah.
Send more cops.
And plus,
Oh.
I wouldn't like the Last of Us world be if that was the apocalypse I was in, because I like mushrooms too much, like on pizza and in
Oh.
stroganoffs and stuff.
Oh.
Like I hate to have to
On
give
a
those
Friday
up for fear.
night? Wait.
I'd be bummed,
When
When
man.
I'm watching Wizard of Oz.
Doing some shrooms, man, the colors. But no, like, yeah, that's creepy. But how about, is it Bella Ramsey? Is that her name?
Yeah.
Uh,
Bella Ramsey. Mhm.
she is amazing. If she doesn't win like every award in the book for this show, like she was great. I mean, like with Game of Thrones when she was
Game of Thrones. She was.
a
Yeah.
badass kid. She is just such a badass. She's been in something else since then too, but man, she can sing. So beautiful. There's just so many like beautiful, touching moments in this show, but also just like horrible people being horrible to one another. So
Mhm.
it's a lot. But yeah, it's an interesting show for sure.
Yeah. I wish all of the neckbeard gamer boys would leave Ramsey alone because they don't look like Ellie from the games. Like, shut up. Shut
Ashley
up.
Johnson, the actress, doesn't look like the character from the
right.
video games, because it's a video game. They
It's a video game.
idiots.
Yeah. But yeah, there's some interesting stuff. And it makes you think about revenge. Like if somebody hurt somebody that you loved, to what lengths would you go for justice or revenge or anything else? Or, what would how would you react? Of course, they're in this like crucible of an environment that's different from just like everyday life. But still it's just it's nuts. So anyway, I probably forgot some stuff, but that's been my geeky week.
Noise.
I'll go next. I've been actually kind of really busy at work, and doctors and veterinarians, because apparently one of my cats decided to try and give another one of my cats a Glasgow smile.
Okay.
Everyone's fine. She just got like hooked. Anyway, that was a veterinary bill I didn't need.
Dang.
I haven't done a whole lot of movie watching, so I haven't done a Monday movie marathon because it's only like
Life.
one movie. So what's the point? But I will be doing one this Monday because I've racked up four, and I'll probably wrap up a couple more this weekend. But Freaky, if you want my full opinion on these, listen on Monday. But Freaky Tales, which is directed by the same duo that did Captain Marvel, anthology movie came out last year. I liked it. The Umbrellas of Cherbourg, a classic film I had never seen. I had no idea this was a musical. That's how not seen I
Wow.
had
About
seen
umbrellas.
this.
Come on.
I really liked it. I actually really liked it. And I'm not a musical girl. Time Stalker, which is written, produced, directed, and stars Alice Lowe, who, if you are a fan of Garth Marenghi's Dark Place, played Madeline Wool / Liz.
Okay.
And I really liked this one.
Right.
It's strange, but I really liked it. She also has another movie out before this one called Revenge, where she plays a pregnant woman whose fetus is encouraging her to kill people.
Whoa.
And I kind of recommend that one too,
As they all do.
as they all do. And then I watched Everyone is Going to Die, which was recommended to me, and it was terrible. It was terrible.
Was
I
it
don't know why
recommended
I
as
finished
a
this movie.
was it recommended as a bad movie or was it
No,
recommended like
it
with a
was
serious
recommended as the best
recommendation?
horror movie they've seen in the last year.
Ooh.
And I won't be
Now, not to
accepting their
totally take you
recommendations
out
for
on a
horror movies.
not to
Um,
take you on a tangent, but does that like skew not like make you think less of the person in general, right? But the next time they
But it-
recommend some, are you gonna kind
if
of be like,
if they're
no?
gonna recommend another horror movie, I'm gonna go, maybe not.
Mm.
Then I went and saw a play
Ooh,
which was called Walk in My Shoes, which is done by a local theater company. It was really good. And then I got home at midnight, and Nyx had scooted her poopy butt across the floor all over the place. So I got to clean that up in the middle of the night. I love my cats. And then I've been
Nix.
watching a lot of TV. I have been watching Doctor Who, and I've been trying to catch up on Daredevil. And we're going to discuss Andor, I guess, as a group.
Yes, we are.
And I started watching The Studio on Apple TV. And this is the new Seth Rogen comedy. And
Yeah.
I'm really enjoying it. The first episode with Martin Scorsese had me howling. He played Rogan plays the head of a movie studio, and he really wants to make important independent films, and the owner of the studio wants to make Kool-Aid the movie. So um,
The Jim Jones
Okay.
story.
yeah, yeah, it's very funny. It's very funny if you're into movies and you like, the backstage crap that goes on. But a lot of cameos because it's Seth Rogen. Like I said, Martin Scorsese shows up in the first episode. You get a lot of big name cameos. Catherine O'Hara plays the former head of the studio, and she's hilarious. I highly recommend
Catherine
it. It's
O'Hara
very,
is
very funny.
also wonderful
Yeah.
in The Last of Us.
Yes. Yes.
I
And
love that she's been having a career resurgence since
I
Schitt's
know.
Good
Creek.
for her.
Oh,
And then I've been watching just a lot of like old stuff, just like Mystery Science Theater 3000 to keep my brain in a good place because it's been just kind of a sloggy 2 weeks. But that's been my geeky week.
comfort stuff is important.
Side hacking is the thing to do.
Trailers, the full Superman trailer. Oh,
Right?
even more looking forward to that. Oh, looks so good.
Yeah.
Been rock and rolling with Leverage Redemption, which I will always love that show. Dean Devlin has he's got an apartment set up in my heart. Anything he does, I will watch the hell out of and most likely enjoy. Which leads us to, I think this weekend drops The Librarians, the next chapter. Which I'm looking forward to. It's a spin-off of made-for-TV movies, which I adore all of them. And I'm just like, okay. And plus, Christian Kane's going to be guest starring. So I'm just like, I'll just watch Mr. Kane in anything. For those of you who don't know who that is, of course, was in Leverage, was in The Librarians, and was Lindsay on Buffy or Angel, whichever one that was. I think it was an Angel. Okay.
Angel.
And I mean, God, he's just so good.
And was Ponyboy in Fame remake in the
That's right. Of course, I was almost late to the recording of this because I was watching the most recent episode of Doctor Who, put down the last two that I hadn't seen this evening.
To recap the spoilers. Oh,
and it was so good. I just adore all of it. And I know I'm not an old Who guy, but I can only imagine that all the old Who folks are just marking out hard for what's coming up. And of course, the biggest one that we're going to be talking about later on, Andor, which of course led to a rewatch of Rogue One, which still so good. So good. And the way they blended everything. Oh, we'll talk about that later on. But that has been my Geeky Suite.
Nice. Alrighty then. So I've done a bunch of comics. Fire and Ice have a new miniseries, so it's called When Hell Freezes Over. See what they did there? Absolute Flash #2.
Like when George R.R. Martin finishes.
That'll happen. Oh, well, let me jump it to Zatanna #3. This storyline with Zatanna is fantastic. If you're a fan of hers at all, this is a damn fine read. And then a bunch of the Absolute stuff. The Absolute stuff from DC is just really damned interesting. Absolute Flash #2 continues this version of a Flash story, which is not your traditional by any stretch of the imagination. Absolute Batman #7 has enough twists in it to make it different than every other Batman you know. Absolute Martian Manhunter #2 is just so effing weird that it's great. You're going to love it because John Jones doesn't know he's a Martian yet. Is he a Martian yet? I'm not entirely sure. He just has a voice in his head, and that's all we know so far. Absolute Wonder Woman number 7 Absolute Wonder Woman might be my favorite of all of these so far, because the changes to her story are just so natural and interesting and fascinating, and she's such a badass in this that's a pretty good time. I've
Can you
also
read
read,
all of these? These are the digital ones.
yes,
Huh.
yes. I have
Can you
comics
show
on
me
my
how to
phone.
do it on your computer? Is it an app?
Yeah, it's the DC Infinite app. Yeah, absolutely.
Ooh.
Most definitely. You can put it on any device you have and just log in as me. Oh,
Ooh.
sorry, DC. I've read the miniseries The Last Days of Lex Luthor. So Lex has got a piece of kryptonite. He's doing more experiments and stuff with it, and something catastrophic happens. There's some kind of weird explosion, and he is bombarded by various weird rays and stuff that start killing him. And so he goes to Superman to find a cure. Why? Because Superman will save anybody.
Wow.
So that's an interesting time, and I'm not sure if that's going to, the overall end of that will tie into Superman's current continuity. I'm not sure how that works. I guess we'll see. Because, yeah. I also read Superman of Friendship Unleashed, a wonderful little Superman and Crypto comic, huh? I don't know if you know this, but he's going to be in the new Superman movie. And for as much fun as I wanted it to be, it was really just a commercial for Milk-Bone, because there's several times where Superman and or Clark Kent has a box of Milk-Bones to give to Crypto.
Oh man, product placement even in comics.
Right?
Come on.
And you're charging people for the comic? Come on. At least Radio Shack gave away their Superman comics.
That might be why they're not around anymore.
Oh, it could be. You should have sold the comics.
We're old.
Yeah. Some of us more so. On Netflix, I have watched The Eternaut, which is based on a 1957 comic book, I believe. It's an
That was on my
Algerian.
TV watched.
It's an Algerian television show, and it starts off so wonderfully. These 3 girls are on a boat. They got plans. They got things they're gonna be doing. Blah blah. And then the city behind them just completely blacks out.
Whoa.
And then we cut to some people who are just together in a room. They were having a thing. Oh, then the power cuts out, and then it starts doing what looks like snow outside.
Oh no.
Yeah. And if you go outside in the snow, you die.
Yikes.
So we haven't officially been told this, but yeah, it's aliens. We haven't seen an alien. We haven't seen a spaceship, but it's aliens. It's aliens, and the world drastically changes. People got to get together, do all kinds of fun stuff, and there's these weird bugs, these very, very weird, large bugs that.
Yeah.
Are you part of the aliens? Who the hell knows? I haven't the slightest idea. But then it turns out that people are somehow being controlled by the bugs who are being controlled by the aliens. Who knows? And so you've got bad guys who are people that you know and love, and you got one guy who thinks he's lived all this before, and that's where our first season ends. And it's a very weird, trippy show. And I think I like it. I do. It's odd enough, it's strange enough, it's different enough that you're like, okay, I've seen stuff like this before, but that's entirely new and different. And hey, it's Algerian. When's the last time you watched a TV show from Algeria? Can you think? Exactly.
Never.
Exactly. So for all of our intents and purposes, whatnot, I guess that's going to be my Geekies Week.
I didn't forget a single thing.
What Chad and Abby
I don't
are
know.
up to
I don't pay
now.
attention.
If you know what TV show they're on this week, you could win yourself a prize. It's your Further Adventures of Chad and Abby update.
Abby and Gabby fly to Reno in search of an exclusive story on a Czech magician, who was recently defected and is receiving death threats. They discover a doctor with a compound where wealthy runaways get plastic surgery to change their identity. Then they go to New England to investigate a haunted house. They go on to rescue a boy trapped in a burning warehouse. And when they investigate the fire, it was set by an arson ring, and it puts their lives in danger. Ooh. Abby thinks they need one more team member because, three's company. Gabby is tired of all the midnight madness, but what can you do when you are the Seppo Demisiles, the Yanqui Ingenues, the Yank Fillers? Hashtag Chabby forever.
You got mail, baby.
Now, those are some good synonyms right there, huh?
There are plenty of synonyms in there.
There's this, wow. Hi, geeks. It's always good seeing some of you at RavenCon. I'm glad I got to catch your session. I think I've shown you a little of my art. Yeah, we've posted some up before. At the bottom of this message, there's a link to my website, which is comics for my first year and a half as a volunteer cartoonist for the VCU student newspaper. Okay. Now, here's the boilerplate that I hope will lead to me finally being self-supporting, maybe before I'm 70. After about 3 years of weekend work sessions, a couple of friends of mine have finally got my website to the point where I've gone live with it. I insisted on an under-construction banner, as there are still a few things that need work, but it's possible to read through the comics. It's possible to stop, go away, come back, and pick up where you left off. Nice. A local successful cartoonist says it takes a minimum of 3 years of regular uploads before a new webcomic site builds significant traffic because it's so easy for people to put up a webcomic site that there's hundreds, if not thousands of them up there.
There's a lot.
So no one wants to search through all that to find what they like. And that's why word of mouth is the only thing that could work. So I'm depending on my family and friends, hint, hint, nudge, nudge, who have seen and liked my comic strips to show them to others. Whenever you have a spare moment, especially if you're already looking at my latest comic upload and don't have to do anything extra, please show my site to others who happen to be around. Any extra efforts appreciated, but I don't want anyone getting tired of showing off my comic strips. I want it to be a joy for you. It really does matter. With my disabilities, I've shared the experience of people with disabilities shown by employment statistics that show we have the worst unemployment rate. Employers in general blame any difficulties on the disabilities and can easily get away with discriminating against us. That's why my only real chance finally to be self-supporting is as a self-employed comic strip creator. Newspaper syndicate opportunities are practically non-existent. Newspapers are declining. True. That leaves webcomics and my need for the word to spread. I hope you can help. Here's a link to my webcomic series. Please bookmark it for easy access because, again, I don't want this to be difficult. I want this to be fun for you. Stay safe. That is from Bill. Well, Bill, yes. Please don't let me forget at the end of this that I need to put that into our damn notes. It has to happen.
What is the address?
It's not in the email, so maybe it's in the email that he sent me at the bottom or something, but the email address, God.
Check the shows when the episode comes out.
Yeah, because, you think I'd have something like that ready to go at a moment's notice, but I don't because I'm a slacker.
This is Bill from Ravencurrent. So I hope it's okay if I tell the story. The first time I met Bill was actually at roller derby, and he was supporting our roller derby team, and he made these amazing, elaborately detailed fan signs for the players who were playing in the game. Like Paris Kills was one of his favorite skaters, and his art is so good, y'all.
Really? That's fantastic.
Oh, okay. I can't find the email right now. Okay, yeah, no, I'm sorry. I will have it in the show notes. I promise you. I'm a ridiculously stupid person that should do better in life, but what are you going to do? I guess it simply does not work that way. And yes, several of you guessed, but nobody really wrote a full-fledged email, that last week Chad and Abby were on a little show called American Gothic. Anybody remember American Gothic?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that was a good time. That was a damn fine time. That should have lasted longer than it did. Man, do I miss that. And I miss picket fences as well. That was some good stuff. So if you'd like to drop us a note, by all means, please do. It's podcast at geekradiodaily.com. Or, of course, you can send a voicemail or a text message to the magic numbers of
510 GRD.
See, you'll like it. It'll be really, really good stuff.
Welcome to the Low Armor Cast, an actual play D&D podcast about 3 kids in a trench coat trying to solve a mystery. Except the trench coat is a full suit of armor.
So you're an idiot.
You're delusional.
Delusional, that's good to my apologies. I shouldn't have leapt to stupidity.
No reason to be calling me names. I'm just explaining why I'm about to stab you.
Yeah, because you're morally bankrupt. We get it.
I will have you know that I'm chaotic good. Of fucking sports fans.
Why you don't leave Merit alone?
You basically just got stuck in a room with my dad.
You got stuck in the room with everyone's dads. LowArmorCast.com. Follow us and listen there, or any place podcasts are available. You can also follow us at The Low AC on social media, patreon.com/LowArmorCast. We will see you next time. Have a good day.
Hey, this is Christian Kane, and you're listening to Geek Radio Daily.
I love you, Christian Kane. He has a very distinctive voice. Sorry.
So Bill actually hyperlinked part of his, hey, click this link, and I didn't copy the hyperlink when I put stuff over. Oops, I'm a goofball. But the website for Bill's comic stuff is pizzafromscratch.net.
Nice. I'm really glad you found that.
Yeah, well, I had a tiny bit of time there, so I was able to go look stuff up. I was like, I don't see anything at the bottom of the email. Oh, look, it's in blue in the email. Ah, that's right.
Get out from there.
I copied and pasted. Pizzafromscratch.net, ladies and gentlemen. Pizza from
Little mama
scratch.
said,
Don't scratch the pizza, that would be bad. So
listen to mama
normally
said.
I push a button here and we start talking about news. But oh my God, Andor!
Oh,
Andor.
Oh, dear.
Andor.
And we need more
Let's
time
talk
than we had
Andor.
this week to talk about.
Did you notice we left it out of our geeky weeks?
mhm.
So how you want to start this, kids?
It was awesome.
Recovered. Have we all recovered? I mean,
we talked about stuff, but I don't know if we ever went into real details about what our plot line was. We talked about, the whole thing they did with the planet, and I was like, well, if you thought Alderaan was a horrible thing, did you see what they did here? But the reason
I will say spoilers. So if you haven't finished
yeah,
Andor, you might want to
spoilers.
go finish
Mhm.
Andor because not that it's weird how you can say spoilers on a television show
Prequel.
that's a prequel to a prequel.
Right.
And I can tell
Well,
you,
it really is.
I can tell you why it was good, why it worked. And sorry to cut you off, Carol, but why it worked, whereas the prequels didn't, was because it was historical, not history. If it's
right.
history, you're basically saying all the things that happened. But if it's something is historical, to me, that means you're filling in the gaps. You're telling the story of what happens between, not just, okay, this happened and then this happened and then this happened. It's just like, these are the things that led to this, that led to, and it just, to me, Andor, best Star Wars show. Okay, I'll be quiet
Well,
now.
speaking of filling in the gaps, no lightsabers, no Jedi, no the Force. This is all about everyone else
Only
and what
one
we were doing to
person
the
said, "May
rebellion.
the Force be with you," and that was
Right.
Bail Organa.
And there was,
there was that one Force sensitive woman in the market.
the
right?
Force healer. Yeah.
Yes. And then you knew they were sprinkled in here and there. I am the Force. I'm one with the Force, and the Force is with me. Right?
Well, that was Rogue One.
Right, but that's all at the same time period. That was the next week, right? With Rogue One. So.
2 hours later, apparently.
2 hours later.
Yeah, 2 hours later. Yeah.
Man, that's still just crazy to me. So I also did rewatch Rogue One because I was just like, I was like, oh, it makes sense. But wow, that was so well done.
Did anyone else notice that K2's first word was hello and his last word was goodbye?
Oh,
right.
Oh, right. Yeah. And to get to see the origin of K2, right? Just all of it. And just like, and the guy that he knew from the prison who is now part of the rebellion. It was just so well
Melshi,
thought
yeah.
He died in Rogue One.
Everybody died in Rogue One.
Yeah, he died in Rogue One because he was part of that landing party.
Unless you do what I did, which was pause right as they were hugging on the beach, and they got teleported out, and they were safe afterwards.
That's right. He got teleported to Bix and his baby. They lived happily ever after.
And Jin Orso says and they had a throuple, and they went to Space Utah and lived a happy life.
Wow. But I think it's interesting because there has always been this like debate over, when they hug at the end, like, was there some tension? I don't think so. I think he still had, I don't think so. Well, it had been a while, but he loved Bix, and I don't know.
Considering, just a few days before that hug, he was about to just shoot her.
Yeah.
That was his orders.
Right? Okay, speaking of Bix. Now, we're all over the place. This is going to be ADHD episode analysis, right? I'm just letting y'all know.
ADHD
Have you heard
AF.
the fan theory of who their kid grows up to be?
Poe Dameron.
Poe Dameron. He would be the right age for it because, right, he's older than Kylo Ren and all of them. Poe Dameron, right?
That works.
I'm just saying, it's a fun fan theory.
That works.
Could be.
It's a fun fan theory, although I think in one
of
the books they actually give Poe parents. So
adopted parents, sure, no problem. Still works.
Then you have to kill off Bix.
Still works.
Are you going to kill Bix?
No.
She died.
Right, but
she died of a broken heart, just like
he died saving him or something. Yeah.
Right.
Just like Padme. Did you notice one of Padme's headdresses was in Luthen's?
I did not notice that. Wow. Also, the fake Grail
from Holy Grail
Yes.
from Indiana Jones.
Oh, the
Yeah.
wrong
He was
one. Oh
also
my
in his
gosh.
shop.
The whip is in there too.
Oh, nice.
What?
The Indiana
Indiana
Jones.
Jones's whip.
Oh, his whip was.
His whip is there
And
too.
that
Yeah.
Luthen, he gets around. He gets around. And can we
right?
just shout out to Stellan Skarsgård? That
Right?
was
How good he was.
such
Everybody
an
was
awesome
acting.
performance.
Ah,
I mean, and his speech
what a
towards the
wonderful-
end of the first season,
Oh my
holy
God, I
cow.
forgot to mention Murderbot. I'll mention that next Sweeky because I was watching Murderbot too, but I'll mention that next.
That's right.
Skarsgård tripped
yep.
me.
Isn't that funny how
Tripped
that
my brain.
comes to it?
So-
Right, but his acting in this was just whatever it takes. He was willing to do, and he knew what was wrong. He had a vision. He was working behind the scenes the whole time. He was getting crap from the rest of the rebellion, but they would not have succeeded without him.
It was
Without him.
It was necessary. It was
No
absolutely
rebellion without
necessary.
the guy that you can't stand.
Well, and
Yeah.
I love it because he was just like the operator in Firefly, where he was just like, I'm not getting into heaven. I'm merely building it for those worthy of it, but I ain't getting there. We're not going to live there, man. We're doing what it
Yeah.
takes for it to exist.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, so I mean just in general. And you know what? It always bothers me. I'm not much for killing per se, right? But like when you know that they should kill the person and they don't, that sometimes that bothers me. When it, you know what I mean? Like when it, like it's like they didn't do that in this show. Like they made
Yeah.
the hard decisions, right? Like Luthen, he doesn't get that the spy who was telling him the insider information from the Imperial, I don't remember his name, the
Lonnie.
director.
Mhm.
Well, yes, right. He can't get him and his family out. He can't,
No.
especially then when everything was literally about to crash down on them that day. So and even in Rogue One, Cassian, the informant that he meets near the beginning, Cassian had to kill a lot of people
Yeah.
and
And
never
that's the
hesitated
first
when he
thing we
had
see
to.
of Cassian is him,
Mhm.
in our eyes, betraying somebody who is getting him information.
Well, here's the thing. When I
But
saw that,
it was necessary. It had to be done.
because that guy was not going to escape. He was injured. He wasn't going to make it. That's just the way it was. And
And
when,
if that guy falls into the hands of the Empire, it's catastrophic.
and
Same
that's why
thing with Luthen.
Luthen
That's
couldn't
where
risk it.
he knew he had to take himself out because they could have potentially tortured him or they could have had a bug they put in his head that made him tell the truth. You know what I mean? Like sci-fi.
I'm sure they had, another
Making him talk.
SETI
Dr.
Alpha
whatever's-
4. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What did you think,
device
Clint?
somewhere
Mhm.
with his screaming crystal kids.
I mean, for me,
Um,
the show is just like Rogue One. I just loved everything about it. There's been we've had plenty of expanding universe books and whatever, but we never really had anything live action showing you this whole thing of the Empire and their build up and the just horrific effing things they actually do. If you really, really want to know how bad of bad guys the Empire is, watch Andor. Oh my
Right.
God. They make it
so many
crystal
people online are like, wow, I had to rethink my attitude on the Empire. It's like, did you miss where they blew up Alderaan? Did you
Right.
just miss
Yeah,
that?
but I didn't live
Right.
there.
Propaganda. That's all that those movies are. It's just propaganda.
Look,
Uh-huh.
That's
the
right,
Emperor was
what
right.
is
All
it?
these deep state Jedi had to go, man.
Well, think of all these, kids dressing up like stormtroopers for Halloween. It's
Yeah.
really like
He's
Mel
gonna put
has
on
done
his
it.
Can you
Yep.
get your head in that?
Is he gonna get stuck? Do the rest? Can you actually talk with it on?
No, it blocks his
No.
voice. Oh well.
All lies. All the stuff that they're saying is all lies. The Empire's good. It's brought a lot of people together, brought peace and security to together.
Ask Dedra and Cyril how good the Empire is.
Yeah.
So-
Oh, I thought she was so good and evil and creepy and
But you still
yeah,
kind of felt for her at the end.
yeah, a little bit there at the end.
See, it'd be nice to
I felt
know.
more for Cyril. I felt more for Cyril when
Oh, because
Just
he actually
kind of.
really
Oh.
did. He really
the
did.
last words he heard are, "Who are you?"
Right.
His heart was broken when he found out that not only he had been used, even though Deidre cared about him and wanted him out, but she had to use him because he was a tool for the greater good of the empire. But when he saw what all had gone down and kind of had his, wait, are we the baddies kind of moment, his heart was broken. His faith was stripped from him.
He was probably thinking, "Oh my God, my mother was right."
Yes. And that fight between him and Andor, because the only reason why he got he gave Andor as good of a fight was because it was just pure survival rage that he was
Now,
feeling.
here's the thing. Did he know who Andor is? Would he have recognized him on sight? Because they had intel on Andor. I knew they did on some of them, right? But Andor wouldn't necessarily have known who he was. He knew Deidre as a target.
He never knew.
Right, he didn't know who he
never
was.
really
right?
looked at him.
That was crazy to me.
Yeah, Andor's just like, why is this barista coming after me? Why is Space Buck's accountant after my ass so much? Yeah.
He's like, wow, this is the most highly trained fighter, right? Oh man, that whole scene, and just them just shooting into the crowd. That was
that's
tough.
That's the stuff that just broke his heart.
So great, because at the very beginning, you almost think that they're getting information from the Empire, but no, quickly you learn that's not it at all.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, oh damn, okay.
Yeah.
It was a double cross, and then the double cross, and then the triple cross. Ooh.
So.
And shout out to Ben Mendelsohn as Orson Krennic, because he only had a couple of scenes, but just
he delivered.
The scenery.
Did I tell you the fan theory last time about him and New Hope?
The chair that was missing?
That he's Poe Dameron's father.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
In a New Hope on the Death Star, where they have that big meeting where Vader chokes the guy.
Yeah.
There's an empty seat at that table, which they needed for the filming of that shot. They needed an empty chair. But everyone's like, no, that chair's empty because Krennic died the day before.
Yep.
It's possible.
So, you're tying it together now, and it's fantastic. So, how much did it hit you that a random effing bellhop came up with rebellions are built on hope?
Fine with it.
Random goddamn bellhop is the guy that says this thing that means so much to Andor later is said by some random effing guy at a hotel.
I'm fine with it because this guy was a go-getter. He started off as a bellhop and then ended up desk clerk.
Nice.
That tells you something.
And he helped Andor.
He was a survivor of a previous.
Yeah. Because he was a true believer as well. He was on there may not have been much that he could do, but when it came time to do something, he did.
And he gave him a free stay at the hotel because he didn't ever check him in.
Exactly. Rebels stay free. Exactly. Rebels stay free. You can't advertise that.
Perfect view of the square.
Right.
So he could
right.
Do you think
everybody did their part in their own way?
Would a Star Wars hotel have a continental breakfast, or what would they call that?
Well, it did, but it was too expensive, so they closed it.
An intergalactic. Yes.
How do you screw that up? How do you screw up a Star Wars hotel?
Have a space bagel.
Yeah. Anyway,
have a hotel that you're never supposed to leave.
Right? when she finally cut ties with the Senate, and we hear part of her speech from that, and
her speech was awesome. This show better win some Emmys.
Right?
I know that the Emmys are not.
I know it's genre, but man, the show.
Yeah, but I think Game of Thrones has kind of broken that window, so maybe Andor can sneak in because this really deserves a shit ton of Emmys.
Every award in the book. She did such a great job of showing the fear but doing it anyway aspect of bravery, right? Because she's just some mom, right, who's well off, and
kind of sort of sold her daughter into a marriage. Granted, the daughter did kind of want that, but still she was only 15. Yeah. And got her childhood friend killed.
Yeah, but he sold him out.
It
So
happens.
Yeah, he
Well,
slipped
he
up a
got
little bit.
himself killed. He
Yeah,
got
I was gonna
himself killed
say. Yeah,
by pulling that shit.
yeah. Still, like, you understand the importance of her from, what we see in some of the other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
it's like they took everything that we knew from the existing Star Wars stuff and just gave us everything else, just made it so much sweeter. I mean, Bail Organa, right?
Mm-hmm.
No. No. Because he apparently I don't know what he did, but he changed his face, and all of a sudden
Yeah.
he's just. I wouldn't trust him after that. That's just me. No, but see, and it's funny because because I think Bail Organa, he has a couple scenes, not quite a full speech, but a couple scenes that, I mean, they would have had to write them differently for Smits, but holy cow, Brat, he elevated them, I think, more than Smits would have, at least based on the way that Jimmy Smits plays Bail Organa.
Yeah.
But and then when he's like, all right, I'm gonna go back to my planet, and it was like, no, which is what I've been saying. They could have saved the prequels if they had one scene where Palpatine says that Jar Jar is the new envoy to Alderaan, and all the kids would have been like, yay, Jar Jar gets a promotion, and all the parents are like, yes.
Yeah, Alderaan. But he does end up, Jar Jar does end up doing something. Doesn't he end up being a senator from Naboo or something?
Yeah. He ends up being the next senator from Naboo.
Yeah, and he's the one that also
And he's the one that calls for Palpatine.
Gave the emergency powers to Palpatine.
Well, he actually, I'm thinking more of, God, what was it? I guess Clone Wars, right?
It's Clone Wars where he comes back. Yeah. I need to
they give him a little
rewatch
bit of a
Clone
redemption
Wars.
arc.
Speaking of Clone Wars, did you happen to notice that one of our characters was Admiral Yularen?
Heard that.
Who actually is in A New Hope as a very, very minor character, but he's got a rather prominent role in Clone Wars.
Oh, cool.
And he's in this, and I was just like, hey, stuff's meshing together.
Yeah. And of course, you can't talk about the show without talking about the parallels to what's going on in current United States of America with fascism and resistance, and the fact that, you can do something, the kind of locking down of things and taking away freedoms and military occupation and taking people off the
Taking
streets just
people
out of nowhere
out of
for
a
no
specific
reason.
land so you can take advantage of that land.
Yeah, right, because they need a mineral. So they're just going to do a smear campaign on the Gormans and using the media to infiltrate and and it was working. It was working on the people of Coruscant.
Yeah. And you want to look at the show and go, well, this is fantasy. It wouldn't work in real life, but yeah, it does.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah, it does. We're seeing it every day.
They're just not wearing, uniforms and armor in a way that, well, I mean, ice, but yeah, I don't know.
Although I do think we should bring back capes and cloaks because they just look so nice. I mean,
Right?
a lot of the fashion on Coruscant.
It's what Billy D would do.
He does try to. There's no doubt about that.
There was no sabacc, or you would think that Andor and them, they were in bars and stuff as they were meeting up with informants and whatnot, and there was just well, but they do so well with just the atmosphere too of it transports you to those worlds, right? To be able to go to Yavin and
And I do like that you kind of get to see home life that you don't get to see in just the movies,
Which is how we got more blue milk. So.
Right.
I was going to say blue milk.
The fact that Cyril was eating cereal. I love that. And he put blue milk in cereal, and
their milk is just blue. They just call it milk.
Mm-hmm.
But yes,
the dinner scene at Dedra and Cyril's place with his mother.
Loved it.
Was just kind of fascinating because it's like, oh my God, yes, that would be their apartment. It would be so freaking sterile.
Right.
You'd be afraid to touch anything. and just cooking a dinner. You don't imagine Empire officers going home and just chopping up vegetables and cooking.
Right?
Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah, but the way she shut his mom down, that was
Oh,
Wow, but his mom won in the end. She didn't have to put
yeah,
up
she
with
did.
Cyril, and she could treat him like a hero. He went out a hero so she could be the hero's mom who lost her brave son. So she
Yeah.
technically won in the end.
Mm.
That actress, incidentally, the one who played his mother, she's a contortionist, and
What?
she starred in The Tragedy of Macbeth, the one with Denzel Washington that came out like 2 or 3 years ago.
Huh?
She plays all three witches, and she does this really weird contortionist walk, and she hunches her. It's really a
wow.
really interesting performance. One of the more interesting Shakespearean performances I've seen in a really long time, and I highly recommend that movie. I absolutely loved it.
I wondered because of the way that she kind of carried herself.
Was
I
it
figured
really,
she either
like-
had a messed up spine or something. But yeah.
Yeah, old people. I just thought she was just one of those old people who just doesn't really like stand up straight, you know?
She has a Brazil quality to her, like a Terry Gilliam evil mom quality
Yes.
to her.
And she keeps changing her face. So yeah.
What was it called? What were you just talking about, fellow?
The
No.
Tragedy of Macbeth.
Okay, thank you.
It's directed by Ethan Coen, one of the Coen brothers. And Denzel Washington is Macbeth.
Like, I'm sorry, it's probably rude to like do it right now, but like if I don't request it on our server, like I'll
Yeah,
never
I think it's
remember.
actually on Apple TV if you have Apple TV. I think they still have it listed.
Oh, it's 2021.
Now,
2021.
also because I'm a big Star Wars geek, they mentioned planets in this.
Oh, I know.
They mentioned Ord Mantell. Which
Oh,
we
I
talked
missed
about
that.
Empire. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
But the big one is they mentioned Belsavis, which is in what the greatest Star Wars game ever.
Yoda stories.
Yeah, Yoda stories. That's the one. That's the one.
Knights of the Old Republic.
Knights of the Old Republic. Thank you. Yes, it's that big ice planet thing from Knights of the Old Republic. So I was
nice.
Like, hey, I know that. I know that. That's cool. Oh my god! Like, there is a ton of stuff.
Yeah, the
there's a
TIE
tiny bit of
Avenger
Naboo.
showed up. Yeah, the TIE Avenger
TIE Avenger.
that Cassian steals
Mhm.
was from a video game as well.
Yes, it was. It is so cool. It is so cool. I mean, that's what's great about it is
Like that he jumped in and couldn't immediately fly it.
Yes.
which is so great from people just automatically jumping. Well, that's why you're supposed to call your your operator back from the Matrix and get that downloaded. So come on, think. You got to think, man. And what's his name? Tony Gilroy. That's the guy, right? Who made this?
Mhm.
So that wonderful moment where him and the bot, and this voice goes, "You need to get out of here." That's Tony Gilroy.
Oh, nice.
That's his cameo for the show. You don't see him; he just gets like one line dropped in. I'm like, "Good for you, man! Absolutely." Oh no, I hope she's.
Can we K2 is the scene in the hallway with K2 using heat as a human shield.
Yes.
Was actually a tiny little horror movie in and of itself.
Right. He was just like, I'm here.
Kind of horrifying.
Oh, but the best part is when K2SO, Carol, you and I have talked about it, when he's walking down the platform and that one trooper's like, "Are you with us?" And he's like, No. Bam.
That was such a badass sequence.
Yes.
Oh my God, that sequence is fantastic.
Disney, lock Alan Tudyk down for life. You've already done a really good job of it, but lock him, every character, not just chickens, but every character like KTSO. Let him do dramatic stuff too, but bring him back to the comedy. Let him do it dramatic, then bring it back to the comedy. But just put him in everything. He can do everything. He went to Juilliard.
Mm-hmm. So then, are there any other characters that we haven't talked about, or things that we want to
I am
say
glad that
regarding Andor?
I am glad that they showed us the little red box robot at the end, that he's all happy and has a
Yes.
new friend and stuff like
And
that.
has a friend. Yes, I was worried about him because I'd never seen a droid depressed. And
Yeah.
that was heartbreaking.
Oh,
And when Mama Andor died, I can't remember what her name was. I just call her
yeah.
Fiona Shaw because that's who played her when she died. I thought that poor little robot was gonna
I know.
let the poor little robot down.
Yeah.
I am sad that they killed off his friend so quickly in the season. And it was the one episode that I'm like would rank a little below 10 because I do think that sexual assault scene was unnecessary. I know that the Empire's evil, but he could have just been. Did you have to bring?
Yeah.
To me, it was just like, okay.
And she'd already been tortured.
Can we?
Right.
I realize it's prevalent, but can we not see it everywhere, please?
Yeah.
But,
I mean, she'd already been tortured, so it wasn't like they needed to give her something for PTSD or to put her in that bad spot where she was drugging herself and whatnot just to kind of make it through. Like, there already was enough justification. But yeah, I agree with you on that one.
Yeah. That was my only hesitation in that episode. And they killed Brasso so quickly. And it was like, oh.
Yeah.
I was hoping he would, like, stay on that planet and make it to the end.
But I mean, I guess you got to.
Why couldn't they have just done where he tried to arrest her and she fought back and killed him accidentally,
I
right?
mean, that's perfectly understandable.
Right.
And she's already broken because of the torture. So, which incidentally, that torture device, I don't know who came up with that, but that's some dark shit.
Yeah. I love that she just locked him in.
Yeah.
And then as she's walking away, then we see the Andor's there with her back, which was like a, heck yeah, you kids. Oh, look at you guys.
And
Just
they blew it up.
Getting revenge and covering your tracks. Good job.
Yeah. They were smart. And the rebellion was smart and strategic, and they didn't always get along. Saw Gerrera's off doing his own thing, and, they're trying to get people together. But even like, when they're giving Andor a hard time because he wants to go off and do his own thing, he's like, he's a rebel. You don't try to put rules on him. Don't try to like constrict him. He's just going to rebel.
Just like his son, Poe Dameron. I hadn't actually heard that, but that is headcanon for me now.
That's
yep.
It's fun.
They were also saying that there's a character in one of Leia's friends in Last Jedi that could be Vel, much older.
Ah.
Huh. Interesting.
Oh.
Interesting.
Be much, much older.
Yeah. I mean, Leia.
Well, I mean,
that's right.
It's only like 18 years.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah. Man,
well, how old is Kylo Ren? They don't really say how old Kylo Ren is.
But if you think about it, they haven't gotten together yet because like the things in New Hope haven't happened yet. They're coming soon, but they haven't quite
very
happened
soon
yet.
because it's going to happen. That's like
yeah. But the baby that Bix was holding was a big baby, so that was like, I
well,
mean,
she would if she was pregnant. Well, obviously she was pregnant when she left, which is why she left because
Which is why she left.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna have to leave us, so let me leave you to make it easier for you.
Yeah.
My God.
So it would have been a little over or close to a year old. Because it was 1 year.
She was, she wasn't showing, so even though she knew, so a couple of months, but yes, about a year. That was like a 6-month-old baby or whatever. So yeah.
And then since we're getting close to the end, at an ISB meeting, they mentioned there was another rise up on Avila 6, which we've not seen, but Avila 7, is where Jaren found Grogu.
Oh.
Wow. Wow.
There's so much stuff in this.
Yes.
Did you remember that, or did you look that up? I have to know.
I
Wow.
was 7. That's where Grogu's from. Come on.
Wow.
How do you not know
Well,
that?
and Carol, you were talking earlier about Cyril's moment of, oh shit, we're bad guys. The other one, what was his name? The one who killed himself with the gun.
Oh, his name I could never quite get
Yeah, Patchak, something like
yeah.
that. Pastachek.
Banachek?
I just know him from Game of Thrones because he was an asshole in there too.
Oh yeah, right.
But it's like it was a different instance of the, oh God, we're the bad guys, but it was definitely like I was like, whoa, I was,
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting that.
I like how his aide knew what was going to happen.
Right.
Because he goes out there and stops the troopers
from going in. Yeah, he knew. Well, he could hear the broadcast, playing or over the speaker, and so he knew, and he could see the emotion, even with the controlled nature of it, the emotions that he was going through, the fact that he had
I
said,
also do
like,
love, yeah. And I
that
love
he
that
had
they
said
ended with
something.
the manifesto getting off into the universe. Vinnick's manifesto.
And I got to give the showrunners and stuff credit for, unlike Mandalorian and Obi-Wan, where it works so well, this is not CGI stuff. These are all sets. They're filming in actual places for this.
Well, I mean, they green screen
Hollywood Studios.
far enough back, but what would have been in the 50s a matte painting, or hell, in the original Star Wars would have been a matte painting level. Yeah, no, everything
Matt
felt
was really talented, Matthew.
Matthew painting, I love him.
He's a good artist.
All right.
It's Matthew Ross. It's Bob Ross's kid. Clearly. That's why there's so many happy little trees whenever they go to a forest planet.
God. Boo. All right. So, yeah.
Yeah, but if they make more stuff like this, more of this like gap filling in stories like adjacent to other stories, that could keep me going for a really long time. We don't have to keep redoing the same story every 20 years. There's a new big bad, I think that's the problem with the Daisy Ridley, the Finn and Poe and all of them is just really, it didn't take that long for another empire to rise up, but it's
For
just
Palpatine to come back? Are you serious?
right.
Hey,
Another Death Star to be built?
The clones were highly established in the expanded universe.
Very true. But look, to Terry's point, I'm sorry, I do not need to see a Kevin J. Anderson super weapon of the week rehashing of, oh, look, it's a Death Star. Oh, look, it's a Death Star with a lightsaber sticking out of it. Oh, look, it's a Death Star, but it opens up and I'm a planets. Okay, I just give me original stories based in the universe, not the same story over and over again, and better yet, make it different genres.
Because get real and serious like Andor and show me how somebody came up and got this First Order nonsense off the ground, I'd watch that.
Or give me another Skeleton Crew where it's
Hell yeah.
Goonies in space. I mean, those are the two best shows best content Star Wars has put out in a long time.
We like that one where the kids got lost in space.
Yeah, that's Skeleton Crew. Yeah, and Mandalorian.
Mandalorian.
We've got a Western, we've got a Amblin kids movie, and then we've got a spy / war thriller. Like, that's what we want. That's what we need. And I want real noir, not 15 seconds of it in Clone Wars and everything's just not great because he goes into a diner and that's noir. Like, no.
Yeah.
So short version.
I like a heist genre. I think Solo was probably supposed to be like a heist, sort of, but yeah, not really. Anyway, we don't need to go down that route. But
it's a fine movie, but ugh.
Yeah. Andor was amazing, and it was a gift to us all in a time of need. And
yes,
Yeah,
It made me
and
cry,
it really,
but
really
it
enhanced
was
Rogue One.
it was a good cry. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So with that, shall we sign
Yeah.
off?
Might as well because, oh my God, yeah. Andor. Quite simple. And yes, I said this when Rogue One came out, but let's say this again. Let's all rework our Star Wars list because it's definitely in the top 3. Just that simple.
Yeah.
Just that simple.
Not just of TV, of
no,
the
yeah.
list.
Of everything.
GRD is licensed with Creative Commons Attribution, non-commercial, non-reworks, 963.0 license. Check us out on Facebook, on Twitter, on the website, GRD.com. Or, of course, drop a voicemail or text message to the magical numbers of
510 GRD Crew.
Don't forget, we're playing Jackbox tomorrow night. You should come join us. For those of you that are interested, Mark's got the karaoke thing happening this weekend. That's a private event, so you got to talk to people to get in there. But it's well worth it. And yeah, I'm doing some stuff that you might be interested in hearing. Might be a little
I
surprise.
won't be there this time. You can take my place.
That's a damn shame. How about that? What you gonna do?
That was lame. God, these guys are such geek dumbasses. I know.
Good night, suckers.
Good cut. Listen, ladies, it's been real and it's been fun. But has it been real fun? Nope.
Star note. I hate to admit it, but Vanessa has performed brilliantly. The crew loves her. So far, I have been able to conceal my misgivings, even from Ficus.
Commander, from your stance and bearing, I detect in you some unresolved matter that is causing confusion, tenseness, general uncertainty.
Ficus, why do you say things like that?
Sir?
I mean, just out of the blue, to say things like that.
Out of the blue? What blue?
Forget it.
Ficus, the commander doesn't like me. It bothers him that I place no faith in human decisions.
That's correct, Vanessa.
Humans do make errors, Commander.
Ah, there is intelligent life on this ship.
Yes, but humans have feelings, and feelings play an important part in decision-making.
True, Commander, but human feelings are not reliable. That's why you animals make mistakes.
Yes, Ficus, we animals do make mistakes, but mistakes help people to learn.
In other words, Commander, you animals need to fail before you succeed. There would be no reason for failure in a purely logical world.
That's true, Ficus, but what you are failing to take into account is that logic isn't always the sensible thing.
What the hell was that from?
Dude, that is Richard Benjamin in Quark.
Okay. Yeah, no idea. But that
A very short-lived one-series 70s, hey, Star Wars is popular, let's make a space show.
that sounded familiar, but nope.
Yeah. And, of course, my clip for my intro was from Saturday the 14th. Thank you.
Nice.
Oh, you may want to keep an eye on Discord or whatever. Mark's been having some internet issues, so.
Oh.
Yeah, we didn't play last night because his internet people. You have to go through our Facebook chat and read this. It's all kinds of crazy, but essentially, the way they have their system set up, he can't have an IP address at the moment. I'd have to go in and see what the exact rationale was, but it's some kind of thing. I don't even know. It's stupid.
That's probably not
Apparently,
good.
it's not affecting just him. These people have a lot of their customers right now who are without internet because of this little upgrade thing that they did.
Yeah, they did a firmware upgrade.
And it's messed up people's ability to get stuff in places.
Jeez Louise.
And I was like, well, Mark, just hotspot your phone.
Yeah. All right, well, I gotta go because I'm tired.
Okay, fair enough.
I'll see everyone later.
All right.
Hang in there, Carol. Thanks for being on the show.
June 6th, I believe, which is, the day the Switch 2 comes out.
Yes.
So no show that
Quick
week.
Show that evening. Huh?
No show
quick
that week.
Quick show.
Just a quick show.
Yeah.
We can get back to it.
Hi, welcome. Emails. Chabby did some stuff. News. Who cares?
Nintendo. But you can hype up your streaming thing.
Yeah.
You can talk about that.
What's that? What?
So we do every other Thursday.
Hmm?
So I'm thinking the other Thursday is when we should stream Mario Kart World from Switch 2.
Okay.
So it comes out that Thursday. We have a show. That Saturday
Mhm.
is when we're just going to preview it. We're going to do that Saturday night. We're going to, hey, look, we're streaming Mario Kart World. Come watch us play.
Okay. Are you doing it on this channel?
Yes, we are.
Oh, cool. Cool. I think you
Oh.
should.
We have to talk about the.
We have to talk about what?
I thought we were going to be in Virginia Beach that weekend for sand soccer tournament. I guess just me
I
and her
don't
going.
remember these things. You have to tell me these things repeatedly.
Okay. So, well, whenever you do try, yeah, that's cool.
So, are you crashing out too?
Oh yeah.
No.
I'm
No,
on
you
that.
have to stay. Bye. Because see, I goofed up. I
All right,
forgot.
hold on. Let me stop the stream. Bye, guys. Thank you.
Yeah, bye, everybody. Thanks for
And
stopping by.
as Dre said, which is something you should look into, Billy, a shared Google Calendar.
It's not on my calendar.
Oh.